It was just another rainy evening in New York City, the kind where people hurried through the streets, umbrellas colliding, eyes glued to the ground. But for Ethan Grayson, the billionaire everyone thought had everything, that night would change everything he ever believed about happiness. He wasn't supposed to be there. He wasn't supposed to stop. Yet something about the tiny, run-down diner across the street pulled him in. Maybe it was fate. Maybe it was the soft, flickering neon sign that read, "Home Meals, a place that promised warmth in a cold city." As his car rolled to a stop, Ethan glanced out the tinted window. Inside, he saw a woman, soaked, exhausted, and barely holding it together, sitting with two little kids. The kids were smiling, though their plates told a different story. One meal, 3 forks. The mother pretended to eat, scooping invisible bites, her eyes filled with quiet strength. She smiled every time her kids looked at her, hiding her hunger behind love. Ethan's driver spoke softly. "Sir, are we going home?" But Ethan didn't answer. Something in that scene, the simplicity, the sacrifice, hit him harder than any business loss ever could. Without a word, he stepped out into the rain and walked toward the diner. When he entered, the little bell above the door chimed, and the kids looked up. The older boy smiled shyly while the mother's expression shifted, surprise, then embarrassment, then guarded calm. She didn't know who he was. To her, he was just a stranger in an expensive coat who didn't belong in a place like this. Ethan quietly sat at the counter but couldn't stop watching them. When the waitress came over, he asked, "What are they having?" The waitress sighed softly. "Just the kids' special," she said. "She'll eat later." Ethan's heart tightened. "Bring them 3 full meals," he said quietly. "And don't tell her who paid." The waitress nodded, though her eyes softened. She recognized compassion when she saw it. When the food arrived, the woman immediately panicked. "There must be a mistake," she said quickly. "We didn't order this." The waitress only smiled. "A kind soul wanted to make sure you all had a good dinner tonight." The little girl clapped her hands with joy. The mother hesitated, tears already gathering in her eyes, and whispered a trembling thank you to no one in particular. Ethan watched as she finally took her first bite in what seemed like days. The kids laughed, crumbs all over their small hands, and for the first time in a long time, he saw something he couldn't buy, genuine, raw happiness. But it didn't stop there. The next day, Ethan couldn't shake the image from his mind. In his office, surrounded by glass and luxury, everything suddenly felt empty. He kept thinking about her face, the way she smiled through pain, the way she shielded her children from hunger. He realized something painful. He had everything, yet he'd forgotten what enough truly meant. He made some calls, found out who she was. Her name was Maya Bennett, a single mother of 2 who worked 2 jobs, waitress by day, cleaner by night. Her husband had died in an accident 2 years ago, leaving behind debts she could never repay. But she never gave up. She kept fighting. For her kids. For love. That evening, Ethan returned to the diner. When Maya saw him again, she looked startled. "You were here yesterday," she said softly. He smiled. "Yeah, I wanted to say hello." They talked. Slowly. Carefully. She was guarded at first, life had taught her to be. But as days passed, he started visiting more often, bringing small gifts for the kids, coloring books, warm jackets, sometimes just a smile. And soon, they started looking forward to his visits. Ethan learned more about her late-night bus rides, her dreams of one day opening a bakery, the way she read stories to her kids every night even when she could barely keep her eyes open. Weeks turned into months. And then one night, Maya got a call. Her apartment building was being sold. She had 30 days to leave. Ethan found her crying outside the diner, clutching her children close. He didn't say anything. He just placed an envelope in her hand. Inside were house keys. "I can't take this," she whispered, shaking her head. "I don't need charity." Ethan knelt in front of her, his voice trembling. "It's not charity, Maya. It's a home. For you. For them. For the kind of love this world forgets." Her tears fell freely now. And in that small, quiet moment, surrounded by the hum of city lights and distant horns, something beautiful began. Ethan didn't just give her a house, he gave her stability, dignity, hope. And she gave him something he didn't know he'd been missing all his life, purpose. Months later, Maya's bakery opened, Home Meals Bakery. The name was her tribute to the diner where it all began, to the stranger who became family. Ethan invested quietly but refused to let his name appear anywhere. It wasn't about credit. It was about heart. The story spread. Customers came not just for bread, but for the warmth that lingered in every corner of the bakery. The same warmth that once brought a billionaire to tears. And at the grand opening, Ethan stood in the back, watching Maya and her kids cut the ribbon, surrounded by laughter, music, and love. The little boy spotted him and ran over, hugging his leg. "Uncle Ethan, we did it." Ethan smiled through tears. "You did, buddy. You did." As the camera fades on that final moment, Maya's smile, the kids laughing, Ethan wiping his tears, a gentle voice speaks to the viewers.